Welcome back to Hardware Unboxed. For today's video, we're going to be investigating if Nvidia's a big old PUBG cheater or if everything's above board. Recently, a video started to gain a bit of attention for showing a noticeable difference in image quality between the Pascal and Vega GPUs. Now, I'm not going to point that exact video out because image quality wasn't the focus of that video, and the creator responsible for it has said they will be doing a retest. Rather, the purpose of the video in question was to compare the FPS performance between the Pascal and Vega GPUs, but viewers quickly spotted some visual differences, and it appeared that the Radeon graphics card was rendering the game in greater detail. The reason I'm looking into this, other than the fact that it is an interesting topic, and if Nvidia are being sneaky with their quality settings, that's certainly worth uncovering, and of course the fact that so many of you guys have asked me to look into it. But the real reason I'm jumping on this right now is because next week, early next week, I will have a video comparing over 30 AMD and Nvidia GPUs in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, so I thought I would address this ahead of time. With so much controversy surrounding this image quality issue right now, I felt it was best to address this before getting to the massive FPS comparison. For testing, I'm using the latest version of PUBG with the latest display drivers from AMD and Nvidia. So this means the 388.71 driver from Nvidia and the 17.12.2 driver from AMD. All gameplay footage was recorded using an external capture device, and this unfortunately has limited me to the 1080p resolution, but that'll still be enough to reveal if there are any visual quality differences. The reference AMD Radeon RX Vega 56 graphics card is being used, and that will be pitched against the MSI GeForce GTX 1070 Gaming X model, and yes, that is a factory overclocked model. An FPS counter will be displayed for each GPU, but the focus for this video really is on image quality. I'm also focusing on the Miramar map, as this is where the big GPU benchmark comparison will take place. Okay, well I think that's about everything. Let's get to the footage. Okay, let's pause here for a second. Looking at the ground textures, there's no noticeable difference between the two GPUs. Both the close-up and distant textures, as well as the shadows, look exactly the same, or at least they do to me anyway. Then pausing again here, we can see that the vegetation detail is the same across the full draw distance range, and the mountains in the background feature the same level of detail. Overlooking the town here, we see all the same features. The texture quality is all the same, the shadow quality again looks much the same, and as far as I can tell, the image quality is identical. Here we can see the quality of the buildings, and again, everything from the textures, shadows, and overall detail level look identical. As a side note, at this point of the test, Vega is also ahead, rendering 92 FPS to 88 FPS for the GTX 1070. Looking up at this building under construction, I again see no noticeable difference between the two images. Please ignore the screen tearing. This was recorded on a 60Hz 4K monitor, and obviously VSync is disabled for the testing. Here we come to the end of this particular test, and I decided to go out with a bang, or more of a thud, I suppose. Anyway, jumping from the top floor gives us a good view of the ground before we make a fatal impact. Here we can see a large amount of shadows, and again, all of them look the same on both GPUs. Then I have this last little bit of footage, and I won't bother pausing this and discussing it because I think at this point it's pretty clear Nvidia aren't being big old cheaters in PUBG, unlike anyone and everyone who's ever killed me in any online multiplayer game. So there you have it. With the latest version of the game using the latest drivers from both AMD and Nvidia, everything looks to be above board. As usual, Vega 56 looks very respectable compared to the competition. Sadly though, Vega 64 is less impressive, and you'll see that in next week's video. Anyway, that's going to do it for this one. I hope that helps clear up the image quality controversy. I'm your host Steve, and I'll catch you again very soon for a mega GPU benchmark session.